everyone, and welcome to Thursday. So tonight is going to be a fun night. Lots of great things planned to share with you. So when you are live with me, please comment and tell me hello, and we will get started in kind of just a couple of minutes. So this is my Touch Base Thursday live event for June 17th. So again, as you are joining me, please comment and tell me hello, and we will get started in a couple minutes. I'm about 3 minutes late, so I apologize, but I'm happy to be going live with you all tonight. Hi to Patty and Carol. Thank you. Look at Patty, you're already sharing. And Janet, hi ladies. Welcome, welcome, welcome to all of you. So it has been a crazy busy week for me, and I want to first of all thank everyone who has participated in my BOGO sale. So if you haven't heard much from me this week, I have been on overload between my local sale and my online sale. I'm not complaining. I'm so glad that so many of you have taken advantage of that sale. So let me say a few more shout outs here. Hi to Kay and Ruth and Sonia, Shelby. Welcome, ladies. So if you have not taken advantage of my online BOGO sale yet, I encourage you guys to look into it. I will post a link to the Facebook page, but basically how it works is I had a local sale where I put all of my stuff out for sale. It's actually still in my garage. So any of you that are coming to my local classes next on Monday, you'll have a chance to look if you want to. But I posted all of the product out on a Facebook page. How it works is it's all of the retired Stampin' Up! Product that I no longer can use because I can't sell it anymore. So it all goes into a sale, and whatever you purchase out of my retired stuff, you give me an order of the same value. So if you spend $100, you put it in a $100 order online, and you only pay me for that $100 order. And then, thank you, Natalie. And then I ship your stuff to you. I do bill you for the shipping cost of the retired product, but it's a really good way for you to get some things. I had a couple of my really good customers took full advantage of that, and I don't blame you one darn bit. So if you are wanting that link, let me know. I'll be happy to get it to you guys. Oh, you're welcome, Shelby. Yes, I've been on the ball getting those prizes out. So, okay, a few things I have in the way of announcements. So I mentioned my BOGO sale, and I've been trying to get back in touch with all of you as quickly as I can with your questions, your comments. So hopefully that hasn't been too hard of a process for you all. If you attended my local event, orders went in this afternoon, and I'm finishing them up after my Facebook Live tonight and in the morning. So it does take me a little bit longer, so I apologize for the delay, but I will get them in there as soon as I possibly can. So my girls, I got to share, most of you know that my girls have a love of dancing, and they got a really awesome announcement today from their dance studio, but it's also a sad announcement for another local studio. But one of our local studios has decided to close, and they sold their building to our dance studio. And so our studio will be able to offer more classes now. They'll have more than just one dance studio floor at a time. So really exciting. The girls are so ecstatic about the change. Although my heart goes out to those of you that have your studio. I know a couple of you watch my Facebook Lives and your daughters dance at the studio closing. So that would be a bittersweet, and I'd feel for them as well. But it's also exciting for them. Is my sweater Pale Papaya? It's actually more like a blushing bride. I think it might be the lighting, because I have a light that I put up. You guys can get a better look at me. But no, it's supposed to be more like a pink, like a dusty, warm pink. But I think it's the light that I have. So anyway, so that was our big announcement. The other thing I wanted to let you all know is I will be out of town next Thursday, but I'm going to be trying something new for all of you. So I will not be able to go live with you. I'm going to be out of town Wednesday through Friday of next week, and not able to do a Facebook Live with you. So I'm doing a little mini vacation, but I'm going to do a pre-recorded video that I will post to my page and to my group at 7 p.m. on Thursday. So I'll have that scheduled to go out for all of you. So you'll be able to still watch a video. You'll still be able to get inspired. It just won't be a live Facebook Live. So it's the first time I'm going to be trying that. So you'll have to let me know how it goes. But I still wanted to inspire you all and create with you. So that was what I've decided to do. So just a reminder, there will not be an actual Facebook Live next Thursday, okay? Let's see. So most of you know, if you share my video, you get into the drawing to receive a couple of prizes. And one of the prizes that is from last week is the round and square brads. And we're going to be using these tonight. So I really think you guys are going to like my presentation tonight. So the winner of the brads is Kelly Campbell. So congratulations to Kelly. Kelly is one of my local club gals. So she will get that at class when she comes in a couple weeks. And then the winner of the other prize I had was the soft succulent open weave ribbon, and the winner of that is Beth Merkel. So congratulations to both Kelly and Beth. And then up for grabs this week, so if you share my video, you'll get into the drawing, and we draw next week. I have some gray granite ribbon and some of the black organdy glitter ribbon. Okay, so those are the two prizes for next week. So a few other things that I just realized, you know, I'm trying to think of all the things that I haven't been putting out on my Facebook page, because I've just been, so in addition to it being my busy BOGO sale week, I'm also very busy at work. So I work at a university, and our fiscal year ends the end of June, and we have some budget cuts that are going to be happening, and a lot of the budget cuts, so I do all the software licensing and maintenance contracts for the university, and a lot of the cuts that are coming from my department are from the software maintenance contracts. So it has really affected how I'm doing things and my negotiations that I'm having with our vendors. So it has also been a really crazy, busy couple weeks for me at work, in addition to in my Stampin' Up! Business. So again, I just appreciate all of your patience with me. And some of you have seen me get kind of frazzled, so I appreciate it. It's been a little bit of a trying couple weeks, but I will get there. On the bright side, I get to watch my little Chloe, my granddaughter, this weekend. So my son is taking his detail business on the road, and he's doing a great big job on the west side of Michigan. So actually, if Carol's watching, he may be close to Carol. He's going to be in Holland, Michigan, doing detailing a cleaning company's fleet of their cars. So I get to watch my little Chloe this weekend. So I'm really excited about that. But it also means I'm trying to get everything done before then. So anyway, club members, those of you that are part of my local club, make sure you let me know your kit your kit selection, so we can get that out for you next week. I would love to get those out if I can before I leave on vacation. If not, it'll be the following week. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is my club to all of you. So if you're not part of my club yet, it's a neat way to get a card kit in the mail every month. I have 3 different card classes for you to choose from, and you get one in the mail just for a minimum $35 order a month. It's a 10-month commitment, and one of the months you're the hostess and you get to get $50 in free product. So it's kind of a win-win, so you can kind of pick which kit that you want. I have some people that pick 2 of them or in it twice, or I also do a scrapbook club where you get 2 layouts a month for the same kind of an order. So if you want more information about my club, let me know. I do have, it's always got openings because I kind of have it, got a unique way in which I do it now. So let me know if you'd like to be involved in that, and love to have you. So with that, yes, Donna, please be careful with my granddaughter. Last time she got her on my watch. Oh, that little girl. She's a very active child. So anyway, that is all that I have in the way of announcements. I talked to you about my my next bingo is scheduled for July 14th. Now, I may not be able to be posting my link to register on Facebook, though you may have to register through email or through getting the link from me through text. Facebook is starting to get a little bit unique and funny about the whole bingo being gambling thing, so they're not really liking when I post about that event. They're fine with me having it, but they're not. It's weird. So if you are interested in bingo, you may be starting to get the link sent to you through email to register for it, just to give you a little bit of a heads up on that. But my next one is July 14th. It's a week ahead of schedule, just because I have other engagements going on the 3rd Wednesday. So with that, you guys, I only have 3 projects to share with you tonight, but they're going to be a little bit time consuming. But I consider them over the top projects. And I'm going to be showing you how to make spinner cards with our Give It a Whirl dies. So I kind of even went outside of the box for me and preparing these cards for you. And when you see the sneak peek, I know you guys are going to start sharing some love, because I love them myself, and sometimes we're our own worst critics. And when I made these, like, I was so excited about them. I was showing people because they were just so cool. So anyway, with that, I'm going to transition my camera down, and we will get started because I have lots to share with you tonight about some awesome products. Okay, so let me get over to the other side here. And again, wait till you see what I've got planned for you. Aren't those simply adorable? Yes, adorable. I know, right? So let me make sure I have this good so that I can still see all of your comments, and we'll get started here in just a minute. I need to also unplug. Be getting seen tonight. Are they not cute? Cute, cute, cute. Okay. So before we get into all that, I know, thanks you guys. I love seeing all those little hearts coming up. Okay, so the first couple of things that I'm going to be sharing with you is the product that I used to create these awesome cards. So I used the Stellar Birthday stamp set, and I bought this to be able to do some projects for kids' birthdays, and I fell in love with it when I saw it, and I actually kind of cased one of the cards from the catalog. So I'm using the Stellar Birthday, and I paired it with the Give It a Whirl dies. Now I want to show you the Give It a Whirl dies because they, I think, are a hidden gem in the catalog. So the Give It a Whirl gems are on the back, in the back right here. They're called Give It a Whirl, and they are all the pieces, components that you would need to be able to make what we call spinner cards, which is what I'm going to make with you tonight. Now these dies are $39, but I'm here to tell you, when you see how easy they are to use, you're going to love them. Now I do have an ordering promotion that I'm doing tonight. You can receive the 3 projects that I'm going to be showcasing for you absolutely free and already done and completed for you just by putting in a $35 minimum order now through Sunday, okay? So that way you'll have an idea of a couple of cute cards that are using that. Now the Stellar Birthday, I want to show you where that's at in the catalog, and I thought I had a catalog here that had them already flagged, but I think I may have put that catalog away, so bear with me here. Where is my Stellar? There it is, on page 21. So what I did is sometimes I think we forget about looking in the catalog for inspiration. And sometimes, you know, I really like to be able to case the catalog. And that is what I attempted to do, kind of, sort of, with, oh, that's not the right page. All right, bear with me here. Stellar Birthday. Stellar Birthday. So in case you guys didn't know, we do have, oh, page 57. It's $21. That's par for the course for me this week. So it's $21, but it's on page 57. So this card right here caught my attention, right here, this card. And so that was kind of one of the inspirations that I had for getting those dies to be able to attempt to make this card to share with you all tonight. And again, they look a little intimidating, but they're really, really not. And so I'm going to start with this card, and I'm going to share with you how I kind of mimicked that to get my own card. Now, how these work is you have a little spinning wheel in here, and as the card turns, as you turn it, you have a little arrow you can put there. So it says celebrating you is a blast, so we have the rocket ship in there, and then you turn it, and then you have the outer space, you know, your different planets, and then you keep turning it, and then I have one that says, oh no, this one doesn't have anything on it, the other one does. And so, and then you can still write your little message here on the inside. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to put those cards together. I'm going to also show you how I kind of made the galaxy. Now mine is a little bit different than the one here in the catalog because I used a technique that I learned a long time ago. And so I'm going to need to bring in a mat tonight so that I can make a mess. I'm also zoomed out a little bit farther than I normally am tonight. So I hope you guys can still see everything okay. But I just knew I would need a lot of space to be able to share with you, whoops, what I wanted to all share. So ignore that it's already got this little mess here. So I'm going to bring in these dies to show you the dies in person here, okay? Now you'll see some of the pieces and parts that I made already that I used. So in the die set, you have what I call your card front. So this is the piece that's right here on the front, okay? So this is the front piece, and so it already cuts out the little half circle where you would have your little spinner. And then you have the actual spinning component, which is this right here, okay? And then you have 3 different openings. So you can see here on this card, my opening is this shape right here. Now I'm going to give you a little quick peek at my other card, because on this card I used the heart. Okay, I would suggest that you start by making a card using this piece. It's just a little bit easier to use than the heart is, but they all are actually fairly simple to use. Now you also have a circle. I have not used the circle yet, but this circle is designed to cut out, and then you have a one that you can put on the front of it. So let's say you had your circle, you could then layer this one on the front, and then your circle would be open behind it. So lots of different options in how you do this. So let's get started, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to put these together. Again, the main things you want to keep in mind is that you need your layer, you need a spinning component, and then you need one of the peak, I call it the peak holes, which we're going to use this one right here. Okay, so I'm going to put all these to the side, and then I'm going to keep these here so you can kind of see how this all plays together. So let me find my card, all my card pieces for this one. So for this one, I used the Highland Heather card base. I'm not going to even bring that in yet. I mean, it's right here, but I don't want to make a mess of this just yet. So I'm going to put that to the side. And then I have my little piece right here. So when I cut this out, it does not cut out the opening there, okay? So when you first cut this out, you have a complete panel with nothing cut out. But you can see here that what you do is when you cut this, you have a little hole here, and it does cut that hole right in the center. The reason why it cuts the hole in the center is because then you have a point at which to be able to cut your opening. So then you line up this hole with the hole that the other one cut, you lay it on there, and then you run this through your machine, and it cuts out your opening, okay? Now your heart has them, all of them have it. They all have an opening or a circle there for you to be able to line that up so that you can cut that out, okay? Now the only other thing that you want to think about as well as you're planning your card is that as you plan your card, you need to think about what you're going to be putting on your little spinner wheel as people turn the spinner to see the different items, okay? Now, one thing that I like to do, and I'm going to bring my catalog back in, and that's why I think this the stamp set's awesome, but you could punch out one of these even on a scrap because you want to see what's going to fit in here. So here on this From All of Us, your happy birthday would fit in there. It'd be tight, but it would fit. Your We Think You're the Best would fit in there. You could put a tree in there. I mean, ignore that, but the tree would fit. So you kind of want to use this as a template as well to be able to see, like, so for instance, this Live, Laugh, Forever would not fit in there. So you want to kind of be able to use it as a guide to figure out what stamp sets will work in your shaker cards. Here to tell you that there are a lot that will work. I was pretty surprised as I was going through this. So just keep that in mind as you are designing and prepping your card. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to share with you is, so I kind of told you how to cut this out. It already puts all the stitched edging in there. I showed you how we cut this little piece out. What I'm going to show you next is how I made the galaxy. So how I made this little piece. This was a Whisper white piece. You can see it here on the other side. I did lots of sponging to make it look like a galaxy. And there is no right or wrong way of doing this. You can pick any colors of ink that you think might work. You're going to see what I used. And then you can kind of go from there and pick what you think might work as well. So I'm going to start with a yellow, and I chose Mango Melody because I really wanted a yellow. I think on mine, this one I may have actually just used Daffodil Delight, but I chose to use this yellow to give it a little bit more of dimension. So you can see I took a little bit of that excess ink off, but all I'm going to do is go into this and add some yellow dots, okay? Again, no rhyme or reason to how I'm doing this, just adding some yellow to it. Okay, and you can always bring these colors back in if you would like to, because you can always add more to it if you're thinking something is missing. So there's my yellow. I then brought in my Granny Apple Green and did some sponging with the Granny Apple Green. So again, I'm going to go into the ink, take a little bit of the excess off, stamp some of the green on here. Oh, this I might actually just do full strength. My other ink pad I know was very, had lots of ink in it, so I didn't want it to be too inky. Okay, and then I'm going to do some Highland Heather. And the Highland Heather, I'm gonna go a little bit heavy with it because I really want some of that Highland Heather to really show up on here. So I'm just kind of filling in open spots. So I'm filling in spots where I have not sponged yet, or even a little bit on top of the other colors. Again, you can kind of see maybe how this is gonna turn into a galaxy. Maybe, maybe not. But I had to share this with you guys because I think this is what really makes this card pop and just really makes it come to life. So here's where you kind of want to make sure that you have your cardstock basically colored in some form with ink, okay? And you can see that I'm really using the purple because I think that the purple really brings that out some. And then I'm going to come in with Night of Navy. Now this is where you want to have a delicate touch because you don't want to go too dark with it. So I'm going to kind of go off a little bit. But then you're going to ink, and this I'm actually rubbing the ink right into this. Can you kind of see how it's taken form here? And I'm just rubbing that ink, going in a circular motion on top of all of this. And I'm really focusing on the outer edge. You can see my center here, I left some of it to be the colors that it was. This is also how, if you've ever seen cards made using, they call it the Northern Light technique, that's kind of where I got this from. This reminded me of the Northern Light technique. Which is another way, and if you haven't seen that yet, I should do cards that way this year at Christmas time to showcase them for you because they're pretty cool. But you can see kind of by just adding in some of this blue that it's kind of changing the colors a little bit. Isn't that just cool? Have any of you seen this done before? If you have, I'm sorry if I'm boring you while I make this, but yeah, I think it's just so cool to be able to see it. Now I know that mine is darker yet, and you're gonna see how I got it darker in just a little bit. My final ink pad that I'm going to be bringing in is black. Now that is where you have to be even more super duper careful because you don't want to overdo with your black and really have it be a complete mess. So I'm going to be inking some of that off, but then I went on top of this with my black ever so lightly, gentle hand, to give it a little bit more of a darker look. And you can kind of see how that determined my galaxy look. I don't like how that's kind of streaky, so we're going to kind of blend that in a little bit more. It's kind of dark on the bottom, but it'll be okay. You're going to see how I'm going to fix that because you just keep sponging. There's no right or wrong way to this whatsoever. So I know it's kind of dark down here, so I'm going to bring back in my purple. Okay, again, just keep playing with it till you like it. My purple is going to kind of, and I'm really rubbing this purple right in on top of that black. Can you see how it's kind of dumbing that down a little bit? And then I'm just going to do a little bit more purple on this. So you kind of get the idea. We're going to kind of go with this one, even though it's kind of dark down here, but it's okay. You get the idea. My black ink pad was probably a little bit too juicy, but isn't that cool? Okay, so then you can see I got some white splatters on here, right? So like I said, tonight's presentation is really a little bit, I wouldn't say over the top, but I'm showing you things that I know some of you might be saying, I'm too new to card making, this is overwhelming. Don't let it overwhelm you, okay? But you're gonna see a neat little technique that I came up with to add what I call like little stars and things to my galaxy world. So I have my Whisper White craft ink, and I'm gonna put a little bit on top of a block. This is just a regular, one of our regular blocks, and it will wash up just fine. I'll have no issues getting that off there. And then I have my Aqua Painter. And this Aqua Painter doesn't work very good. I have a really hard time getting the water to come out of it, but I keep it for exactly what I'm gonna do right here. And then I get white ink all over me. I'm gonna dump a little bit of water on top of this, just a little bit, maybe. There we go. Okay, so I dumped a little bit of water on top of that. I hope you guys can see that. I know there's a little bit of a glare. Let me make sure I get my, okay, and I'm just gonna take my little Aqua Painter and I'm gonna mix this around to make it look like it's a watered down white pigment ink. then I'm literally just gonna splatter it, put on top of my finger, and I'm just gonna splatter it all over on top of this little galaxy world. And I'm gonna do a little bit more down there where I got it a little bit too black. But you can see how it just adds perfect splatters to this. So now you know why I had to have a little sheet down here. Isn't that cool though? It just gives you just enough to be able to have that little white specks show up to make it look like it's a galaxy. Okay, now I gotta get to this out of my way so that it can dry. I know, isn't that cute? So I'm gonna actually turn this over and use the other side. Okay, so anyway, that is how I made my galaxy, okay? Isn't that just like a huge, oh my gosh. All right, so again, I'm gonna bring my card back in so you can kind of see what our finished card is gonna look like for those of you who might be joining me just a little bit later. Now, the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to showcase how to put this card together with the whole spinner and stuff like that. Okay, so we have this little spinner right here. Now, I already cut this out with my Big Shot machine or my Stampin' Emboss die cut machine. And you can see, I know you might not be able to see on camera, but you can kind of see the marks where this was at. And so I'm just gonna put that back together as if, and it'll fit right in there. So I'm gonna put that back together as if, I need to actually punch out my little hole here. I got white cardstock in there, there we go. So I'm gonna put this back together as if it was just coming out of my machine, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a pencil, so I'm gonna put this down, and I'm gonna take a pencil, which is what you guys heard me say thank you to Natalie for, and you're just gonna lightly pencil mark in where these are. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is so that when I stamp my images and put the little thingies on here, I know where my limits are. So I know that it has to be inside these 3 little triangles. Thank you, Shireen and Marilyn and Claudia. I know sometimes I get a little woo when it comes to doing things outside my realm, but that's okay. So what I'm gonna do now is we're going to decorate these little things up. So one of them I stamped the rocket. Now I may not do all of the coloring for tonight's presentation because I wanna get through all my projects with you. But now we're gonna do our stamping in there. So one of them is the rocket. And again, all of these images are from the same stamp set. It's from that Stellar Birthday. And now I have a guiding point as to far as where I need to stamp those at, because it needs to be inside those 3 little squares. So I have one that is a rocket ship, and I probably stamped it the wrong way, but that's okay. Doesn't really matter, I guess. And then I have one that is the little, let me find that stamp. That might not be out yet. Where's my stamp set? So the next one is the little worlds. Yep, nope, they're not on a block, so let me get them out here. So I'm just gonna put these on a block as well. And I'm gonna stamp those in the next little area. And then the last one, what I did, and again, you can change this to be anything that you want, but the last one that I did is I just added some stars. Now these stars are part of the die collection. You can cut out the stars and you get 3 of them, 3 different sizes with 1 die cut. And so on that one, I'm gonna just glue down a couple of stars, and actually I'm gonna stamp the little blue stars first. I had to do blue stars because, you know, why not? My school mascot where I went, we were the Port Hope Blue Stars. And so, you know, I take advantage of making stars blue whenever I can. So anyway, so let me put those stars on as well. And I did that just for a little bit of different color. So I stamped those in black. And I'm just gonna put them on here as well. And then we're just gonna put I glued a couple of stars on here. So we're going to, thank you, Philomena. And like I said, we may or may not get through all 3 projects, but I want you guys to at least be able to see how fun and easy it is to use these dies. I was a little intimidated when I first got them, and then realized that they're not hard at all. They're really quite simple. The first one's the hardest, but you can always go back to I post all of my Facebook videos, or all of my Facebook lives, to YouTube, and they're also here on Facebook. You could just search my page for spinner cards or whatever, or give it a whirl, and they should pop up for you because I do tag them that way. So you should be able to come back and find these later. Now, I'm not going to take the time to color everything in because I can color it later once it's all put together, because I want you guys to see how I put that together. Now, one of the things that I like to do is I like to keep a little, I like to put like a little spacer on mine, and I'll show you what I mean by that here in just a second, which I need to see if I punched any of them out. So I found that by doing what I'm going to show you, my pieces, I may have to go run and get a circle punch, but by doing what I was doing, what I'm going to show you, my pieces were, or my spinner cards were spinning a little bit easier than if I did them without it. So yeah, I may have to go get a punch. One second, guys. Bear with me. I'm coming, I really am. Okay. So I'm using an old punch. Okay, I'm going to be using an old punch, but I am going to just punch out a circle. Now, what I did when I made my cards, whatever piece I punched out of here is what I used, but I must have thrown them away when I prepped for my class, so I apologize. But what I'm going to do is I punched out a little circle, so I'm going to be kind of using it like it's a spacer. And oops, I don't want that. I want a hole punch. Now, I'm also using a really old hole punch, but these hole punches I'm sure many of you have. And I just eyeballed the center to be able to stamp or punch a center in there. And here's where your brads come into play. So Kelly, who won these, I nominate Kelly to make the next shaker card because she has a whole set of these. So anyway, I'm just going to take one of the brads. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the brad through the spinner. And I'm going to put, I'm calling this my washer, okay? And I'm just going to stick that on there as well. And then I'm just going to fold this over, okay? And from there, I'm going to put a dimensional on both sides of the brad. So one here and one here, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in, now there might be better instructions for these, so if you guys have seen a different demonstrator use them, or you have a different way of using them, please let me know, because this is just the way I figured it out to be able to make it, you know, so that it would work kind of for me. So then what I did is I put this on here like this, and I kind of centered it on the card of where I wanted it to be, okay? And then I took my little pen mark, and I did the little pencil, not pen, pencil, and I'm just kind of outlining the four corners of this, okay? So that way I kind of know where I want this to go. Okay, so then what you're gonna do, you don't have to have that brad show if you don't want to. You can put it up a little bit higher, you could put it down a little bit lower, you could do whatever you wanna do with it. But now I'm gonna remove these two little dimensional backings. Now you wouldn't have to probably put this on. I just did because it's, again, a technique that I learned a long time ago. And I'm gonna kind of line this up so that my circle right here is on the brad, because see, on my card, I cover it up with the little girl anyway. So now those are off there, so you wanna be careful. All we're gluing on right now is this piece, but you wanna be able to line it up where it needs to go. So I am just lining this up, putting it down, and it's gonna adhere that to my card. And there's my spin. Okay, now at this point, you're gonna wanna erase your marks. So I did it really, really lightly. So I'm just gonna erase my marks. How cool. Yeah, Judy, this card might not be for everyone. And you know, a lot of people like more simple cards, but I had to show it because I had a few people asking me about it in the catalog. And so I thought, you know what? I am gonna challenge myself to this one. And I gotta say, I do love how it turned out. Then you're gonna put 4 dimensionals on each of the 4 corners of this. So one on each corner. And I'm going to take this off, the 4 little backings off. Oh, and I probably shouldn't have deleted those little squares yet, but I can still see them a little bit. So that was the one thing I shouldn't have done, but that's okay. I can still see where they were. And you kind of put that on. And there you have, oh, I was supposed to delete those too. So let me pull this back up, or erase those. You want to erase your lines as well. So I got ahead of myself. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to erase these lines. Again, I made them really faint and really light. So just going to erase them. And this is where you want to make sure you have a pencil. That eraser doesn't leave weird marks. Like mine is doing a really good job and not leaving weird marks. So this would be a card that you might want to make like for somebody special. Like I wouldn't want to make a whole ton of these cards, but for someone special I would. And then it's going to spin and you're going to see all of those awesome little things in there. Look at that. That one I may have gotten a tad bit high, but you get the gist of it. It's because I had to move my thing. Isn't that awesome? So simple. Now from there, all I did was decorate the front, okay? So I stamped out a little girl. I started with the little girl because I have a granddaughter right now, so of course that's what I'm going to start with. I'm going to move my mat out of here because I'm done with most of the messy stuff. And I like for you guys to see this much better. So I brought in just a bunch of different blends that I thought were nice and bright and vivid to be able to color her. And so all I did from this point, because I do want to move on to my next project. One of the dies that's with this as well cuts out these little what are they called? Oh, help me out. Arrows. So there's a little die that cuts out 2 of these little arrows. Thanks, everyone. And then I just glued the little arrow down so people knew which way to turn. And then I added a bunch of stars to this. So even my black didn't turn out too bad after all said and done. So I added some stars down here with some glue, added stars, added the little girl. You could also add the little boy, colored it, and voila, you have a card. Isn't that cute? So anyway, I'll probably finish this card later because it's going to be a lot of different coloring. I did add to my sample here, I added some Wink of Stella to the rocket. Can you see that? The rocket. So I probably stamped it right on this one, wrong on this one. Again, there's my leftiness coming out. I blame it on my leftiness. But I did add some Wink of Stella to those things that are inside of that little roundabout thing. So anyway, that is my first card. I hope you guys liked that. And I'm going to keep it here so you guys can see it. But I was so proud of it. I had to show a couple people that right away when I was done with it because I was that proud of it. So again, don't let these dies overwhelm you. I think that Stampin' Up! Has made it very simple to be able to add these cards or make these cards into shakers. So the next project that I'm going to show you is I was trying to get, thank you, Judy. I was trying to come up with some candy that would be cute for this. And I came out with, and I know that Sarah's watching, she's gonna hate me because she gets all my leftover candy because she has boys who love this stuff. I bought some Pop Rock candy. And of course I get it on Amazon, and so I have a few extra bags of it. But I put 2 of them in here together. This is just a clear envelope. And then I did this little background the exact same way. But what I wanted to show, I'm not going to actually make the background again because I wanted you guys can kind of see how I did it on this one. But look at the difference. The only thing I changed with this one is the color of cardstock that I put behind it. Can you tell that that really pulled out the green and the yellow compared to this one pulling out the more of the purple because of the color of cardstock behind it? But I did the exact same thing here on this. And then I just layered it with Granny Apple Green, and I picked Rich Raspberry because that was the color of this these Pop Rock candies. But how cute for a little party favor for a birthday party or something like that. And all I did, so this is how they come. So this is the candy. If you guys have any kids that eat this, it pops in their mouth. And it's quite interesting actually. And then I just put 2 of them together like this, and I literally stuck them in a clear envelope. So I mean literally, you just stick them in a clear envelope, and I shut the envelope up like that. And from there I just decorated it. So another neat little thing that you can do as a little party favor for birthdays and things, okay? And cute candy. So anyway, the last card I'm going to show you, again, is similar to the first one, but this one I chose to make it look more, this is definitely a little boy card, and it kind of reminds me of Captain America. Is that who it is? I think it's Captain America, who's all in red and white and stuff, or red and blue and stuff like that. Now for this one, I used designer series paper for the main part of my card. So I chose to use, what is this? Pacific Point. Thank you, Philomena. So I used Pacific Point, and then I chose just to use a piece of the Designer Series paper from our Regals collection. So you could use any of this that you might want to use. You could use, you know, green on here, any color, but I liked the brightness of this. I just loved how bright it looked. So the same thing holds true with this one, but this time I used the heart. Now the heart, you're gonna have to get a little bit more creative with what might fit in the heart. But I did the same thing. I ran this through the machine, cut this out, lined up the circle, and then cut out the heart as well. And then the heart is what I'm going to use as my little washer on this card. So this one I did keep. I won't need to use the punch. But I'm going to go through this one kind of fast again so you guys can get an idea of how simple it is to do this one. Okay, so for this one, again, I used the Whirl. I actually put a heart in there on this one. Look at that. Isn't that cute? And then the last spin is it says reach for the stars, I think. And then it says, you're out of this world. So you can kind of spin them any way you want. So again, I'm going to show you again, the hardest one. The first one is the hardest. After you do the first one, piece of cake. So you're going to cut this out. And then again, you're going to see these lines in here so you know exactly where to line that up. And I'm just going to line this up where my lines are right there. And it fits. You can feel it fit right in there. Okay. What circle did I use for, you mean for the inside? It's a retired punch, Marilyn. It is, I used a 1 3/8 because it's all I could find. I keep all of my circle punches because I always use them for things. So you won't see many of those in my sales. Again, I'm just going to make these lines, but then you're going to see me do something different because now I'm going to bring in the heart. And I could have probably just used the heart, but I got goofed up. So I'm going to just use the heart. So the heart, you're going to do the same thing. Your lines now have to be inside of here. So you can see that you have a smaller space to work with. But I'm lining this up with the circle where it meets right in there. And I could probably move this down a little bit because I do move my piece down. Now, the other thing that you could do too is if you want the brad, you could have that brad go through all 3 of those. I just choose not to do it because I don't know, that's just kind of how I am. And then, so from here, we're going to do some stamping again. So this one, I'm going to stamp the Reach for the Stars is what I'm going to stamp on this one. So let me find my Reach for the Stars. So quick and easy and simple, really, once you kind of get going on them. Whoops, and I don't want to stamp it upside down, though. But that's why I mentioned it's easiest to start with the bigger piece because you have more space in which to do your stamping and stuff until you get an idea of how you want it to look. And then on one of them, I'm just going to glue down a heart. So let me bring in my glue. And I'm just going to glue this. This one I didn't completely draw out, but I think I'll be okay right about here. And then the last one, what did I do in the last one? I think it's the little, I used the little worlds. So let me stamp that. So I'm curious how many of you might consider making these cards now that you have seen how to use these dies. First of all, I'd love to know who overlooked the dies in the catalog because I know I did. It's right in front of me. I know I did until I saw a card get posted and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. And then I'm like, I had to figure that out and I have to do that myself. So anyway, but I'm just curious who, yay. I mean, it's so fun. Again, I would not make these cards just to make them. I always grab that instead of the hole punch. They'd be for like my kids, my grandkids. My girls want to make one for Father's Day now for my husband, which I'm pretty excited and stoked about. So I'm like, yes. So I'm hoping we have time to do that tomorrow before we get Chloe so that his card is done. Otherwise, it might get a little interesting because she is a little busybody. So my granddaughter is now, well, she was what? She was a year, April 14th. So she's now 14 months old and she keeps us going. But she is so, so fun. So, whoops, let me get this one on here. There we go. And I'm just gonna fold this out. And I'm not folding it too tight, okay? Because you kind of want it to be able to move going around, all right? And then we're going to put a dimensional on either side of that as well. You bring in the dimensionals. So this one I'm doing kind of fast just so you guys can kind of see that once you do the first one, because I made these cards for you guys on, gosh, last Sunday, because I knew that I wouldn't have time to do it. And so I hadn't touched them until tonight. So I was a little nervous, but it came right back to me. So again, you're going to put this down on top where you think you're going to be putting it down. This time, I'm not going to erase these marks until after. And if you need to, you can even put a little mark on the sides here, okay? So don't feel like you can't do that as well. No one's going to be able to see it. And then you're going to line this up again. Okay, and you might want to just make sure that some of those that you did fit in there, which they're going to. And then you're going to line this up with where those marks are going to go, or where you're going to put it. Whoops, I moved it. I moved it, so we're going to start over again. Doo-doo-doo. Okay, so I'm going to line this up best I can. Yep, I'm good there. And again, all I'm securing down is my spinner element. Okay? And then we are going to erase. See, Janet, I agree. I never noticed them in the catalog either. Not at all. But they are definitely for a wow factor, or like for a grandson or granddaughter's graduation. This would be a fun card. Now, you don't have to get all crazy like I did with that background. I was just trying to showcase. Someone had asked me, one of my ladies had asked me how they did that background. And so that was kind of what inspired me to showcase that. This one right here, you can see is going a lot faster because I did not do anything fancy to it. It just is a simple spinner card, okay? So nothing fancy with this whatsoever. Okay, and then we're going to put our dimensionals on here as well. Isn't he cute? I just think this one was cute too. And putting them on the four corners. Now, if you wanted to add another layer to this, you could, okay? So you could add another layer to this first. This I think would still fit fine. I just chose not. I chose to keep it simple for you guys. So yeah, Sarah, I can see you totally doing this. Marilyn, you overlooked it, and Beth's willing to try it. Yay! Okay, so now I'm going to line this up with my pencil marks, and I'm going to put those two down. Bring this over, lines up good, lines up good. So there you have another spinner card that I'll finish adding things to and decorating and all that awesome stuff. Hey, I didn't do too bad with that for guessing. How cool is that? And then from there, you just decorate it. So again, I colored him, and you can see I did a little bit of, let me actually take a little bit of time and color him so you guys can see how I got the variation look in there. You can probably tell his face is a little different. There's some shading in there. I know that I've colored before and showed you guys that, but we have a little bit of time. So let me actually show you what I did. I'll at least color a little bit. So for this one, I used the light real red to color his suit. And I found it was easier to use the smaller end of my blends instead of the bigger end of my blends. Just because. Now, again, don't forget about my ordering promotion. If you really, really, really like these cards and you really want those dies or stamp set, any $35 order will qualify you to be able to receive these 3 projects already completed for you. You wouldn't have to do anything. I would send them to you already done, and then you'd have cards in your hand to be able to make them again to kind of see how it all goes together. So let me just color a little bit more of his suit, and then I'm going to show you how I do some of the blending. So cute. Okay. So what I did then, let me bring in the dark red as well. I did use the dark red, and I did this little part right here dark. I don't know why, I just felt that this little thingy right here needed to be a darker color. But I brought in the color lifter. Thank you, Shelby. Brought in my color lifter. Oh, there it is. My color lifter's over here. Boy, do I have a mess going on. And all I did with my color lifter is I took up a little bit of that color. That's it. That is all I did. You're going to see some of that color disappear here in just a minute as that dries. And then I did the same thing down here. I just ran this over a little bit of it. And it just kind of blends that in a way that is so pretty awesome and unique. And then I'll show you in his boots too, because the darker the colors that you do this with is where you can really see. So for this I used the light Night of Navy, because we don't have Pacific Point markers, I don't think. So I used the Night of Navy. So let me color this in. And I'll color in his little gloves. So I colored him to match the colors of my card, of course. Okay. And then I'll bring that color lifter back in and, whoops. And I'm just going to take out a little bit of the color right in the middle of his little boots. That's all I'm doing. Nothing major there, but look at that little bit of look that you get by doing that. Can you guys see that? See how it took out the color up here in his little helmet of his suit and then down here in the boots? And that is just simply by using a color lifter. So I really encourage you guys, if you don't have the color lifter, to get a color lifter because it's pretty cool. I did use ivory to color his face. Now if you purchase the ivory blends, it comes with the bronze together, which is great for flesh, for coloring flesh. And I did use the ivory on his face, but then I did add some little blush and rosy cheeks to him with the light, what's it called, petal pink. So I brought in the light petal pink and I just added some rosy little cheeks to him. So I just went like this and like that and added some rosy cheeks. Shelby, do I know? Oh yeah, so Shelby, I think you're talking about, she's asking if I have seen the cards. The set that they're using for that is called Potted Plants, and I actually just designed 5 cards with it, so I'll be featuring that here in the next couple of weeks. And the lattice is actually in the catalog. You buy it already done up like that. It's called Paper Lattice. And I love it. It was actually my top 5, my team members get, who are in the top 5 each month, I send them something. And they actually got that paper lattice in the mail because I loved it so much. And I thought they'd be able to really use it for some of their projects. But it's already done up like that, and you don't have to even cut it out with a big shot or machine or anything. So anyway, like I said, I'm not going to take the time to color all of that with you because we're almost at 8 o'clock already. But I just wanted to show you guys how easy it is to get that blending look just by using a color lifter. You don't really have to get fancy. I know there are some people out there that color and do a heck of a lot better job than I do, but I'm always looking for easy simplicity that still makes it look like it's got the texture that you're looking for when you're putting cards together and coloring with the blends. So let me bring in my 3 projects again for tonight so that you can see them. I really hope that you guys, like I said, I know I'm zoomed out a little bit further than I normally am because I wanted you guys to see that splatter technique that I did. And oh, where's my other card? Oh, here it is. So I want you guys to see all of these here together because I think that they are so adorable. And yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this Facebook Live. Like I said, it's a little bit different than ones that I normally do, but I definitely wanted to show you guys how easy it was to make these and put these together and make the little background and all that great stuff. So anyway, thank you all so very much. Again, anybody who puts in a minimum $35 order, you'll get these 3 projects completed and sent to you. So you'll have a little bit of an idea of how to put these together. Again, you have a video right here. Hopefully my instructions were simple enough that you were able to follow them. I'm sure that there is other ways that you can do them, but that is you got the Kim Vogel way, because that's kind of how I roll. I look for simple, easy approaches to things, and I found it was really easy to just use the pencil, draw those out, and figure out how to put those things together, and it worked out pretty well. So thank you all so very much. Again, there will not be a Facebook Live next Thursday. I'm leaving out of town Wednesday morning for 3 days, but I will be posting a video at 7 p.m. on Thursday where I'll be showcasing a couple of awesome backgrounds of things in our catalog. So that way you still have some things to keep you inspired. And I'll be posting regularly right here to our Facebook group and our Facebook page. So you'll be still able to see different things that I've created and that I've been doing. So thank you all so very, very much. And again, that online BOGO sale is still open for any of you that might want to take a look at that. There's lots of great products left. Thank you to all of those of you that did, and I'll be getting those out. I'm hoping to get them out before I leave next week. Bye everyone. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you back soon. Bye.